If you have questions, concerns, and are just lost when it comes to planning for retirement, meet Steve Hoyl and Derek Caldwell of the Hoyl Financial Group. And I'll tell you what, if anyone knows anything about Texas style, it is Billie Jo Jones. And Steve, you had a really cool opportunity earlier this year in Nashville. You went to the country radio seminar where you actually had a chance to sit down with Billie Jo and talk to her and interview her.
It's crazy. She lives 100 miles from Dallas, Texas, and we have to go to Nashville to get together. But I just really like her. She kind of had a really hard upbringing, and I think she made the very best of it. And I'm going to tell you something. We're going to see huge things from her. I love Tammy Wynette. I love Patsy Cline, and I think she's the next combo of the two of them. I mean, she just kind of has that twang that everybody loves. And you just inherently like her and want her to be successful. I can't wait for you to hear her.
Yeah, she seems like a really great person. And by the way, she's going to be featured on this new show on CBS. It's called The Road. It's a music series, and it deals with Keith Urban, Blake Shelton. And they are basically taking like 11 or 12 up-and-coming artists similar to Billie Jo Jones, and they're going to tour with Keith Urban. They all get a chance to do an opening act for him to kind of get a taste of what real stardom is like. So you can check her out there as well.
I think Taylor Sheridan is real involved in that too.
Yes,
he's incredible what he's done. He just signed a huge contract. I just love all of his series. I just think they're incredible.
Let's get right back into it here. And this is your interview, Steve, with Billie Jo Jones.
I felt the pain from you leaving. I prayed one day you would choose me over your demons.
Billie Jo, you're amazing. Someone from Texas, making it big. I love what you say, and a lot of times is that you're the hardest working girl in the country music business, and then you don't take no for an answer. Tell me about that.
Yes, sir. So I've been at this music thing for a little bit now, and I'm telling you, it's one of those things that I absolutely just love country music. I've loved it since I was a little girl, being raised by my grandparents. They instilled the true traditional country music in me. And once I learned that I love to sing and I love to perform, I've been told no so many times in my career that it adds fuel to my fire every single time I get told no. So when I get told no, I just keep going after it until I hear a yes. So.
Well, I'm in the financial business. I got started when I was 25 and got a lot of no's along the way. Now, like 36 years later, we're getting a lot more yeses, but I understand what you're meaning, and you get a lot of yeses, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
But what I have to tell you about your story that's the most touching thing is my grandmother was the person that really changed my life. She just made an everyday difference. And, when you talk about your grandparents and what they've done for you, and they started raising you at 1 year old, tell me about them.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to start tearing up already as soon as you talked about your grandma. We're going to be best friends then. So my grandparents actually raised me since I was 1. They are now 90 and 86 years old, and they still come to a lot of my shows as much as they can. But the reason that my grandparents raised me, my daddy was a truck driver, and he knew the best thing for me was for my grandparents to raise me. But more importantly, it was because my mom was and still is a drug addict to this day. I've seen her twice my whole life. And so I'm so blessed that my grandparents took me in, because there's no telling where I would be right now without them. And it's crazy because a song that I wrote for them has already, touched so many people, and so many people have yet to hear it. But, people with similar stories of being raised by your grandparents. And so, yeah, I grew up and was blessed with the very best, for sure.
One of your top 2 songs is Girls Don't Cry. Tell me about that.
Yes, so Some Girls Don't Cry was my second number 1 that I had. And that song, I'm telling you, it's just a women empowerment song. So, and I've even had happily married women reach out to me on Instagram, and they said, I'm happily married, but I'm screaming this song at the top of my lungs. And I just thought that was great, because that's what the song is about. Whenever Lynn showed me the song that he wrote, I said, I got to have it. It's my new power anthem song. And so we crushed it with that one, and the ladies love it. The guys even, I think, are digging it too. So I think everybody's liking it.
Well, don't you think it has something to do with Texas? Don't you think women in Texas are really, really tough? They have to be.
You have to be. I mean, you have to be tough, number one, to even be in this business, because it's not a business for sissies at all. And you got to have a good head on and strong shoulders, because sometimes you go through things, and it is hard, but you got to not give up and just keep going, and that's what I intend to keep doing.
I love that. You know, I have a radio show across Texas, and doing retirement planning is what it's all about. So I have to start talking to you about money. What did you do when you made it? Did you start putting a financial plan together? You know, it was tough growing up with your grandparents raising you. So how did that past really change you financially?
It's one of those, it's a kind of a hard subject because, as you know, in this industry, you don't really make a whole lot of money whenever you're starting out. Still not, you know. Sometimes, if we're being honest, sometimes you do things for, you know, the exposure of it. But I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough question because I'm not financially set. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, if I'm being honest right now, you know, at this point in my career. So we do have a business plan set right now. I am making, you know, more money than I ever have in my entire career, especially since I got with one of the best teams that I could ever, you know, have behind me. So we are working on that. So I'm telling you, it's a work in progress. It's not. I don't have a good answer for that because it's something I'm still working on and something I'm still working towards.
But it's a journey. It's a journey.
It is.
You have to start here, and you know, I've heard it's called baby steps. You're getting there, right?
Yes,
that's what
we
it's
are.
about.
We are
you know,
getting there.
You got to have your eye on that ball. Your new song's about tequila. So if you're in Dallas, where are you going to drink tequila?
Oh gosh, that's a hard answer because I've got a lot of favorite places in, you know, Dallas Fort Worth area. I'd probably have to say I love going over to Billy Bob's. So if I'm going to go drink some tequila, we got to go to Billy Bob's in the Fort Worth Stockyards.
Well, my daughter lives in Fort Worth and has a 1.5-year-old baby, my grandbaby McKay. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to meet in Fort Worth to drink some tequila. All right,
let's make it happen.
Thank you so much for your time.
You.
You know what I love about you? You're a Texas girl, but you're so real.
Thank you.
Thank you so
much. He ain't looking at you, and honey, I'm the one to blame. You think you've got what it takes, but I'm his everything.
What a cool interview that you got to do with her. And her story, I mean, it's very unique about being raised by her grandparents. But I love that she says even though she's an emerging star, she's nowhere near where she wants to be financially. I think we can all relate to that.
Absolutely. You know, I think she's as real as they come. And it all starts with an idea. It all starts with a plan. And then perfect follow-up to put that plan together and each and every year reviewing it. Like she said, she's just getting started. But, you know, if you continue to review the plan, continue to take action with the plan, continuing to, you know, check it, you can have a great career in music. You can have a great retirement plan because really life is about the journey, not the destination. Don't you think?
Oh, my gosh, 100%. And, you know, when it comes to planning for retirement, guys, it's not a sprint. It's really a marathon because it's going for years and years, and your things are going to change over the years where you have to revisit your plan and make some tweaks and make some changes, or maybe your whole direction of what do you want to do and what you want your legacy to be is going to change. I know I read something about Billie Jo saying that part of her legacy that she wants to leave is paving the way, of course, for other emerging artists, and I think more specifically female artists.
Absolutely. You know, she's so powerful in that area about women. She's so pro-women. What I love about Billie Jo, and I love about when people are getting ready to retire, come to see us, when they can share their mistakes. They can share their successes, but their mistakes. And, you know, after she was talking about our kids summit, I see so many people that come to see me today that say, you know, I don't want to tell my kids about my success or failures because I don't want to know I have any money. I'm like, wait a minute. What people can learn from that. And what I really believe from people that we've worked with, I mean, just, my gosh, this is my 36th year. I mean, it's crazy. Where did 3 decades go? But what I find is when we look at people's plans, when they came to see us after COVID, they all of a sudden wanted to redo their plan. People's priorities changed. And that's the great thing about a plan is you can get back and revisit it and tweak it. But if you're just kind of doing it from the hip pocket, you can't do it, Jess. Spending out of a retirement account every month, you're going to run out of money. You know, when I got started back in the 80s, Jess, yes. I mean, you know, Jess, that's right as the cassette tape ended and the CD started. Okay?
Listen, I had cassette tapes growing up. I remember the big shift, yeah.
Okay, so, but, you know, my clients would come see me and they had this pension. And all they would say is, you know, they had, when I was first in the business, worked with all these people in Borger, Texas that were Phillips retirees. And it was funny. They didn't go by Jim Blackman. They went by J.E. They all had their first two initials. And they still their whole life call themselves these two initials. It's so cool. But anyway, they all had this pension. And I kept on saying to them, inflation is going to erode that, and later on you're going to need other buckets of income. Well, I just can't ever imagine needing more money than that. And I watched a lot of people that would come see me 3, 5, 7 years later. Steve, you were right. You were exactly right. And, people that didn't put that other part of their plan together. The other thing that has wiped out so many retirees, Jess, that have a huge pension is the pension's big, so the taxes are big. So they keep on taking the pension, and they wait till, when they're 73 years old now to have to start taking the required minimum distributions. Well, it's rolled up so much and grown so much that now they're in the absolute highest tax bracket. And trust me, the U.S. government knows about that. That's why it's designed that way. The other problem is they know that they're going to take the least they have to. They're going to pass the rest of their kids. Well, now their kids are in their highest earning years. So it's taxes, taxes, taxes. It's the 8 ball. It's the 13 ball. You've got to fix the taxes. It's the hidden treasure of retirement. Yes, it's all about having enough income. Income is what makes the world go round. Inflation is the silent killer, but taxes, not having a tax plan. I've seen so many people that it really changed their way of life when they got 73 because they didn't have a plan. They didn't think about how all those retirement monies were rolling up. So, when the government is your profit partner, you need to figure out how to alleviate that. And we've helped so many people put a tax-free strategy together, doing a Roth conversion. It's all about having the tax strategy. So, Jess, I think the other thing is a lot of people come to me now and say, well, I'm not going to have to pay taxes on my Social Security. Wait a minute. You earn way too much money for that. That's what the media told you. That's not what the finances show. So, being informed, it's crazy. I think the other thing, Jess, that I laugh about, we were talking about the other day, Derek and I, is if we had $1 for every brother-in-law that had the right advice, everybody on TikTok had the right advice, everything they read on the World Wide Web had the right advice, or a neighbor, we'd be wealthy. It's crazy, Jess. You need to get some information from somebody that's a trusted source. It's really important. Call us at Hoyl Financial. Let's sit down and really find out the most important thing to you. We figured out today what was most important to Billie Jo. Let's now figure out what's most important for you and your family. That's what it's about.
If you'd like to sit down with Steve and Derek or a member of the Hoyl Financial Group, visit retiretexasstyle.com.
Investment advice offered through Hoyl Wealth Management, a Texas-registered investment advisor able to provide investment advice in states where it's registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Steve Hoyl, Texas Insurance License 716036. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Hoyl is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Hoyl is licensed in your state, please call 806-371-9473.